Yeah, because I'm calling in on my phone.
Okay. Isn't it amazing what we can do these days?
I'll tell you. So you can just kick back, take your shoes off, put your feet off, and just be comfortable. So you don't have to worry about what you look like.
Okay, thanks.
This miniseries is award worthy at every turn. I'm really curious because you and Jennifer have both essentially, you've stayed out of the fray. You have really more or less protected much of what Cary created about himself as an image over the years. And first her book came out, your book came out, and there's been so much written, but to now see this is almost a quintessential telling of Cary Grant or Archibald Leach. And I'm curious, what prompted you to say yes to this project and get involved at this point in time?
Well, my love, about 10 years ago, Jeff Pope came to me. He said, I've read your book, Dear Cary, and I'd like to make a film out of it. I said, okay, let's talk about how you see what you see. And he wrote some drafts and went away and came back months later and decided to option the book. And as we explored it over the years, he said there's too much for a movie. There's too much for just an hour and a half. He said, I think it'd be better as a series. So now it's a 4-hour series, played brilliantly by Jason Isaacs and Laura Eichman, who plays me. The entire cast is really, really so good. But I'm especially overwhelmed, honestly, by Jason, who researched, who spent hours and weeks and months, really, researching Cary. I can't even tell you how many hours we spent together. He wanted to know all the nooks and crannies and cracks, and he not only got Cary's accent, but he really nailed the man's soul, his heart, his fears, his anxieties, his trepidations. He really, he's brilliant in it. And Laura did a fine job with me. We spent also many hours together talking about it, working on it. And the entire cast is good. So I'm very pleased with what's evolved. There were many things that were left out. There wasn't time for them. Mm-hmm. But what was left in is thought-provoking, and I must say, one of the things that it shows to me very clearly, and I think it will to the audience, is that we tend to look out there and say, oh, look at the wonderful life those people are having. Yeah. Look at the wonderful life they're living. And we make kind of gods out of them. And when we come to take the masks off, we find out they're not gods and that they've got the same cracks that we have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I was doing double takes repeatedly watching the series every time Laura is on screen. Her resemblance to you is uncanny. And then with the hair, the makeup, the costuming. As you watched Laura play you, were you kind of gobsmacked at how much of you she really captured and brought to life?
You know, there were several times when I went, what? She really got that. You know, it's hard to, imagine someone playing you, you know. It's really enough for me to say she did a wonderful job. There were moments when my reactions would not have been the same. I'm being very honest with you. It's because it's me, and it was her playing me. But she always had an honest reaction, and one that I could buy. So I'm just delighted with her, and I'm going to share what you've said with her.
That just blew my mind, Diane. I mean, right down to, you've always had this effortless kind of laugh. When you find something amusing or funny and you laugh, you'll throw your head back a little bit, and it's always so freeing and fresh. We know it's genuine. And she really brought that to the screen. And
Well, I'm going to tell you that's very profound of you, because when we were casting, she got my laugh, and I couldn't believe it. I heard my laugh back, and I didn't know she was a Brit. She's a British girl, and her accent shows none of that. So she's really first class, fine.
Yeah.
Grade A.
Did you have any input into the casting, or the various production values, such as the costuming and things like that?
I was involved with everything.
That doesn't surprise me, though.
From the casting on, yeah.
What surprises me is, did you ever think about directing this yourself? Because you are a director.
Yes, no, I think I was too close to it to even think about that. Well, I wasn't asked in the first place, and I think the one they chose was absolutely right for her. I think Paul did an amazing job. I loved the way he went in and out of phases of life. So I thought it was directed brilliantly.
That's one of the fascinating things with this, is how the script is structured and how Paul has structured this in editing. As we do go back and forth, we've bookended the series with Cary's conversations with Cary Grant. And
Yes.
that's used as the voiceover or the in and out transitions as we go from Archie in 1910 to Cary in 1980 to 1960. And it's his recollections that are coming forth. I just love this structure. And so much of it is, I can see where so much of this is pulled from your book.
Yes, I'm grateful for that.
You know,
My book is very cinematic, because I see in pictures. So that's the way I write. I can see in pictures. That's why I have to be very careful what I watch, because I take it in.
No, when I read your book when it was published, it was very cinematic, and I could see everything that you were writing about in my head. And
That's what I was hopeful of.
same thing with Jennifer's book, Good Stuff.
Beautiful.
The same thing. Both of you write very cinematically. And
That's good. Thank you.
and everything that I saw in your book, I have to tell you, Diane, what I saw based on your descriptiveness, I now see that in this miniseries.
Oh, that's so good. Good. That's wonderful.
So, now that this is about to be released this week to everybody, and serendipitously, TCM also has this as Cary Grant month, and is showing a slew of Cary Grant movies all December. As you look back on this experience, is there anything else that you wish you could have said, or that could have been included in this series?
Well, there were several incidents that happened that there just weren't time for. But I tell you, the thing that I'm most left with when I watch this series, just as a woman, watching her life back then, I just wish I've come to an understanding of what I understand love to be now in my life. And I wish I could have practiced that with Cary then, because I don't know if it would have changed things, but it would have been different.
Oh.
It would have been different. And we can't help but look back and say,
Yeah.
God, I wish I would have, I wish I could have. But that's what I think haunts me the most. I wish I could have, because I was so young.
Yeah.
And I took it so personally. And I wouldn't do that now. Now I think I would be able to help him more.
Well, let's say you have actually set the record straight for everybody on who was Cary Grant with this miniseries. We see him, flaws and all, and it is so heartfelt. It is so beautiful, this entire series. I'm so glad that you decided to do it, Diane.
Oh, thank you so much. What I want people to remember is the wonderfulness of his performances and all that he gave us all those years, you know. He gave us so many hours of joy and happiness and gladness and entertainment, and that's the main thing to remember. And I think people will love him more now, not less. I think they'll love him more because they realize what he went through to become Cary Grant.
And they'll realize how much they share with him as a human being.
Exactly.
Oh, Diane.
Exactly.
Thank you so, so much. This has been a joy to get to speak with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate your questions. Thank you, love, and happy holidays.
Same to you, Diane.